Hello and welcome to the Velocity Institute's Innovate 2023 virtual summit. It's great to have you all here from around the world. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, as they like to say. I'm going to jump right into it. We have a pretty action-packed set of things. So, let me add the presentation. All right, my name is, as I said, is Christopher Durham. I'm the president of the Velocity Institute. I'll tell you a little bit about us as we move on. So, again, welcome. Today we have a little more than 230 registrants. They've actually been coming in hard and heavy. These numbers are a little hard to read, but from 12, I think actually I saw 15 countries pop on just a minute ago. So very excited to have everyone from all around the world. If you don't know who we are, we're really a global professional industry association focused on retailer-owned brands, private labels, whatever you'd like to call them, across all categories and all channels. So yes, grocery, drug, mass, home improvement, pet, you name it. If retailers are making and owning brands, then we want to be a part of what they're doing and help the industry grow and change. So we include all retailers, manufacturers, and solution partners dedicated to helping build private brands, and they're all invited to join what we do. First of all, a thank you to our sponsors, MBD Design, Marketing by Design, and Voci. So it's my show, so I get to do a little bit of a commercial about some of the things we have going on. We have an exciting year in 2023. We started strong, and we'll have events in Toronto, Fort Lauderdale, Charlotte, Amsterdam, Austin, Chicago, and then, of course, live online. First off, coming up next is our annual conference and expo here in Charlotte, North Carolina, the May 16th through the 18th. Got a special $300 off coupon for attendees today. So if you haven't registered, new registrations, use the code Innovate300 and you'll get $300 off today. Lots of great presenters, Albertson, CVS, Metro, from Canada, Rite Aid, Foxtrot, Sprouts, Navy Exchange, Wakefern, Doug Baker from FMI, the folks from Fair Trade, Circana, which obviously has just changed its name, and Wise, and then a whole lot more. So you'll want to make sure that you join us in Charlotte, North Carolina. A great networking and a learning event. So it's the place to be. And then just after that, so during the Velocity Conference here in Charlotte, we'll actually give out our Vertex Awards to the North American and South American winners that attend. I will hop on a plane just after that, and we will go to Amsterdam. So Monday night of PLMA in Amsterdam, we'll have a cocktail party and a ceremony for the Vertex Awards winners there. I'm pretty sure we'll have all three of our retailers of the year in attendance from all three parts of the world. So that'll be super, super exciting. And the Europeans are coming out. So you'll be able to see a lot of the European winners there as well. So please join us in Amsterdam. Those tickets are absolutely free. And then in June 8th, we'll be in Toronto, Canada, or really Mississauga, a suburb of Toronto, at the Port House. So come have drinks with us. This is not, we're not selling anything. We just want to get the industry together and give you a place to meet and talk, network, and grow your business. And then in September, we'll return to our Sustainability Summit in Austin, Texas, a couple of blocks from the Whole Foods headquarters. So you'll want to make sure to join us there. We've been announcing speakers, and there's a lot of cool ones to come. So please join us. This is your opportunity to attend, speak, exhibit, or sponsor at any of our events. So if you'd like to be a part of what we're doing, please visit the website or email me at cdurham@velocityinstitute.org. So let's get going on the content. So this is the third set of industry research that we've done. This set of industry research was conducted by Voci, who is our research partner, and they've done a lot of great work with us. If you saw the national organic research we did last year, we'll actually be redoing that again next year. So it's super exciting. Who'd we talk to, right? So we talked to 68 retail-owned brand professionals from around the world from March 9th through March 22nd, so almost the end of March. And we asked all industry members, so could have been retailers, marketers, manufacturers, you name it, what was going on with innovation? What do their departments look like? How do they feel? What level of innovation they do? Because we wanted to level set and kind of figure that out. So the respondents kind of crossed the boards. You see, we actually had 8% of CEO at the president level, 21% at the SVP VP level, 21% at the director level, and it kind of quarters out from there down. So a nice response list. As far as companies go, retailers topped the list pretty heavily, with manufacturers following, and then a variety of other solution partners chiming in. Happy to see those really come out. So first question we asked really was, what group is responsible for innovation in your private brand program or product? So it could be the retailer, could be the manufacturer, it doesn't matter, but who's actually responsible? And what you see here is 63% of the people say that retailers and the manufacturers have co-responsibility, with 22% saying the retailers are solely responsible, 10% saying manufacturers are solely responsible, and then a 5% coming in, and it was a sort of vague list of brokers, consultants, innovation experts that kind of were running the show on that. So it's a much smaller number. So let me flip this around so we can see that a little better. Here we go. Who is responsible internally for innovation? So do you have a dedicated team? In this case, 54% of the respondents said we have a dedicated team. Unfortunately, the next number was 30.9% said everyone is responsible for innovation. I'll tell you, historically, we've seen that when everyone is responsible for innovation, it very often just doesn't happen. So, and then it goes down from there to 4.4 actually said nobody was responsible for education, and 2.9% said we have one person. 7.4% said other, so who knows? And 4.5% said the category management or the buying team were responsible for innovation. So they're in all likelihood receiving innovation and not creating innovation. So we asked, how important is innovation in your private brand strategy? 80.3% said it's extremely important or very important. So promising number, right? We love that. And then we kind of stepped back and said, well, let's talk about your innovation strategy in your program and how is it working? So the question became, our retail owned brand innovation is one of these four things. So 3% said everyone is trying and launching new things, but the chaos means it is lost to the customer. So there's a lot of little things happening everywhere, right? 2% said we're just keeping our head above water. Innovation, honestly, to that 2% wasn't terribly important. 5% said occasionally we find or are presented with something new. So again, kind of random. And that 20% just added on top. So our innovation is random. We try, but we have little focus. 70%, however, said our innovation program is focused and effective. We have strategically important projects and deliver on them. So remember that 70% is focused and effective, because we'll come back to it. Then we talked about the types of innovation. So traditionally, if you watch college professors, they'll talk about this sort of incremental, sustaining, disruptive, and radical innovation. We've actually added a couple of different layers as well in accidental and discovered. And it kind of goes up the continuum. So accidental is an accidental or intentional or unintentional evolution of a product or service. So think Post-it notes. The adhesive was created for a completely different use, but the guy figured out he could stick it and he accidentally made a product that people then picked up on and became a great product, right? Discovered's a found product, trend, or service that is discovered and elevated. So maybe you're traveling internationally, maybe your grandma made a new sandwich, maybe whatever. Doesn't matter, you discovered something. Those two are very passive on the retailer or the manufacturer side. They're hopeful things, right? It's not actually happening. As we go up the continuum, you get incremental, so gradual or continuous improvements on existing products and services. This is often adding flavors, pack sizes, you name it. So this may be a different chip flavor. This may be Oreos getting thicker, you name it. And then sustaining a significant improvement on a product that aims to sustain its position in an existing marketplace, right? Disruptive, a new business model, category, or concept that disrupts or rethinks the existing market. And radical, a breakthrough that transforms a category or channel and creates a new market. And so disruptive and radical are very difficult and require a lot of work. They also then require a lot of investment to tell consumers what they are and how to use them. So think Swiffer, right? I already have a mop and a broom. I don't need something else. Well, they had to tell people they needed a Swiffer and how to use it. So here's the numbers on those. So 12.3% accidental, 24.2% discovered, 24% sustaining, 24.2% disruptive, and 38.5% radical. So you take those top two numbers there and you're looking almost 60 some odd percent, or say they're doing some really significant innovation work. It's a little shocking. Honestly, I would expect to see more talked about things, more products and services out there that we could all call out. And I certainly can't get to 60%. So that's an interesting number. 12.5% actually said they had no innovation. None. So we take those first two numbers, right, the 70 and you get the 60. And then we said, how effective are your current retail owned brand innovation initiatives? Moderately effective, 59.7%. So that's kind of the middle of the road. Extremely effective, 11%. Somewhat effective, 21%. And very ineffective, 1.6%. So by and large, these folks are kind of, the initiatives are doing okay. They're not knocking it out of the park. It's not a huge surprise. I mean, we expect truly innovative things to have a pretty high fall off rate, and you're gonna miss the ball every once in a while. Then we asked, which of these best describes your innovation position? So are you at the back of the pack, bringing up the rear, or are you bleeding edge? Are you really trying to be out there? Back of the pack says 3.2%. Basically, that means as a private branded program, we're not doing much innovation. We're standard national brand equivalent in most cases, right? The other far end bleeding edge, 1.6%. So where you would expect most retail programs around the world to be is exactly where it is. Middle of the pack, on par with others, right? So doing a little bit of innovation, but the vast majority of what's happening is national brand equivalent. We spent 30 years building that apparatus to be able to do that, so it's not a surprise. We asked about the economy. How's the current economic situation impacted the pace of your innovation initiatives? So have you dramatically accelerated? Have you stopped? Where kind of are you? Surprisingly, dramatically accelerated is 14.8%. So they're saying, hey, we're going to spend a little, we're going to move a little faster. But the vast majority of people there at 34.4% said they're going to maintain, right? With 29.5% said, it's tight, the budget got tight, the people got tight, we're going to slow down a little bit. None of these are surprises in this economy. The classic private brand number is to ask about private brand penetration, right? What is your penetration in the entire thing? So we asked a very similar question around innovation. What is your goal for penetration for innovation? So how much of your set do you actually want to impact? The average was right at 25%, with honestly the vast majority of people hitting in there. That's a pretty aggressive goal, I'll tell you. So we hope to see the departments and the investment correspond to that. It's going to take people and resources to be able to get it to that 25% goal. We then said, let's take a look a little deeper at what you're doing. So we created a report card and said, if you were to evaluate your organization in each of the following areas, what grades would you assign in each of the areas? So we all know consumer insights and trends is a key part of what we do in innovation and private brand. So how good are you at it? Right? So 83.7% gave themselves a B. Marketing innovation. So it's that next step. It's if I created something innovation, do I actually have the wherewithal to tell my consumer about it and get credit for it and drive sales through it? So they gave themselves a B minus. Actual product innovation, however, stepped down. to a C plus, right? So we're right in the middle, and you see pretty much we're going to live in the C range for the rest of them. So innovation effectiveness, so how well do the things we create actually do? The results of those efforts, a C. Packaging innovation, a C. Organizational innovation, a C. And sustainability innovation, a C. So lots of room for improvement. So overall, they gave themselves a C. Now, I don't know that anybody's truly surprised that the private brand industry gets a C in innovation, right? We've spent the last 50 years building an industry that was designed to essentially copy things. And now we're adding innovation in. So the real question becomes, what does the next 30 years look like to move us from a C to a B to an A? And what are the resources and people that we need to get there? So, which steps or tactics are most important to pursue to advance innovation? So, number one, building consumer relevant brands, straight from their words. It's not a huge surprise. So many retailers use their own name on it. So, whether it be Sainsbury or Kroger, it doesn't matter. They'll put their own name, and that brand carries a lot of weight, and they're able to get a lot from it. They also, however, will use a lot of other brands that consumers may or may not have ever heard of, particularly at the value tier and pet and coffee, you name it. So it's how to build those additional things that actually have a resonance with the consumer. Number two, no surprise again, collaborating with manufacturers and suppliers. So working closely with those people who make these products and saying, this is what's important to us. This is how we want to grow. Obviously, this changes what the supplier, manufacturer, and retailer relationship looks like moving forward. Number three, improving consumer insights and trends intelligence. The trends piece of it, they hit on a lot. And it was really because we've built that business where we copied a lot of things, and now we're saying we want to create new things. Where are those new things coming from? So they know they can create new things. That's the hardest kind of innovation, as we saw earlier, but they can also discover new things. So whether it be food from Thailand or Bangladesh, it doesn't matter. There are things out there that can be brought in, or whether it be from TikTok, honestly. What are the trends? What's happening that we can build products off of and really engage our consumers in a different way? So number four, fearlessness in decision-making strategies. This is when I was in retail was a key one. There was a lot of people doing a lot of cool things, but when you got to the point where it had to be approved, if that final approver wouldn't do it, it was all done. So fearlessness. Number five, adjusting strategies for changing consumer lifestyles. Again, kind of goes back to the consumer insights pieces. Is we don't live the same way we lived 50 years ago, right? It's not the same Brill cream and Tide. So what does it look like? Number six, encouraging and fostering out of the box thinking. Number seven, boosting marketing of innovation. So telling people about that piece and accepting a certain level of risk and failure. We'll dive a little deeper into those last couple in a minute because we asked some other questions. But the reality is, if we do not have cultures that accept and learn from risk and failure, we will not have innovation. Nobody wants to lose their job, right? So 56.9% when asked, how would you describe, and my piece is under your company's attitude towards innovation, 56.9% said innovation is encouraged and supported. This statement describes us well. So that's a positive factor, right? We're being given by the powers that be the permission to innovate. 53.4% said new ideas and concepts are rewarded regardless of their final use or success. This describes us well. Okay. Good job. The other side of it, however, is 66.6% when asked, does innovation tend to be stifled or delayed by bureaucracy or slow decision making? They also said this describes us somewhat or sometimes or describes us well. So innovation is being stifled in a good portion of the time. And then the big number. So we always ask this question. It's if you innovate and it fails, what happens? So the question was, how would you describe your company's attitude towards innovation? And it was, are you likely to lose your job if an innovation project does not meet the Golders Trail? 91.8% said that doesn't describe us at all. So most of these people are not afraid of losing their jobs if it doesn't work out. That's great. That's a big start, a huge start. So a few thoughts as we move forward. First of all, although I would not say that anyone has intentionally misled or lied, I would say that the answers tend to look a lot like sustainability answers, in that everyone says they want to save the planet, and it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's saving the planet. So everyone says they want to innovate, and everyone says they have great. They're really good at it. Do I necessarily believe that? No, I really don't. And if that were the case, I would expect to see so much more in market that we could talk to, and the case studies and the customers happy with things. So it goes back to this. Is the goal really 25%? Maybe, maybe not. And what I would say is each retailer has to define that themselves. Each manufacturer has to define that themselves. And it may be by retailer, it may be by brand, it may be by category, it may be by channel. 25% may be really possible in certain categories, and in other categories, there's zero. So take a look a little closer. As we go back to this number, 70% focused and effective, I don't know. I find it hard to believe, honestly. Are we getting better at what we're doing? Absolutely, we are. Are we 70% focused and effective? Probably not. And then these numbers around disruptive and radical. I'll tell you, I don't know that these two numbers were 60+%. I don't know that that's true of major CPGs, that they're doing a radical innovation. They're doing truly disruptive innovation. So this may well be just making sure that we're saying that all of these levels of innovation are appropriate, and we're going to attempt to do all of them in the appropriate places, the appropriate categories, and the appropriate channels. Radical and disruptive, honestly, being the most expensive. And then going down and saying in some places it's really about sustaining and making it a little better, being incremental, and really a nice portfolio of different innovation that solves for consumer needs in each of these ways. So I think the results are a bit optimistic, honestly. And I want to just step back and say, let's be really practical about what we're doing, because we want to build innovation departments and cultures that can grow and thrive. So I'll close out on this really with the verbatims, the comments from the research. I could do 5 or 10 different things, but it would just be saying what these folks have already said. So please, 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 collaboration, close relationships between manufacturers. The verbatims really called out the retailers, and know it's hard. The retailers know you don't believe them when they say they want to collaborate. It's really just about price. And what they're saying is stop and build conversations, build relationships, because it doesn't have to be. Bring more to the table. It's about changing the mindset and the culture. So really not eliminating that national brand equivalent mindset, but adding to. So we still need to maintain that muscle memory and that core strength, and adding to it. So better consumer insights and trends. I mean, we all know there's lots and lots of data out there. Data is not rarely the problem. The problem is, well, what does that data actually say? And then where am I getting the trends from? More people and talent. I would have to go back and count, but more departments than I care to remember had 1 or 2 people in it. So it's going to take more than that to hit a 25% innovation penetration rate. Speed to market. Let's move faster than our customers. If there's something cool going on, let's get it out there and let's do it. Number 6, increase risk tolerance. Be brave, or as I like to say, be bold. Number 7, better defined strategy, a more strategic focus. So this was really about losing the randomness and the chaos and saying, this is where innovation is important to us, whether it be the category, the channel, or the consumer. right? So she has a need, she has a problem. How are we solving for that problem? And are we telling internally our constituents that this is the strategy and this is why we're focusing our efforts here? And are we expressing that to our manufacturers, our researchers, our agencies to make sure that they're all helping us with that strategic focus? Develop a dedicated innovation team, more resources, please. Number 9, incentives, rewards for innovation. So we all know what we get paid for happens. So if it's not part of the incentive program for the private brand team, for the merchandising team, the category management team, the innovation team, if there's not an incentive, you're probably not doing it right. And then number 10, less bureaucracy and less entanglement. So don't slow us down. Let us learn and change.